You know that phrase, a gut feeling? Or when you get butterflies in your stomach? We say it all the time. But what if it's not just a saying? What if the real key to our mental health isn't actually in our head at all, but somewhere, well, somewhere a lot more surprising? Today, we're diving into some truly revolutionary science that could completely change how we think about our minds. I know, it sounds like a pretty wild idea, right? But this is the exact question that is shaking up the world of neuroscience. We're about to explore the fascinating and growing body of evidence that suggests our gut could be an incredibly powerful lever for influencing our mood, our sleep, pretty much our entire mental well-being. And believe me, this isn't just some interesting academic debate. The stakes here are unbelievably high. According to the World Health Organization, over 280 million people around the globe are affected by depression. For so many of them, the treatments we have now just aren't enough, which makes the hunt for new answers more urgent than ever. Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we need to talk about a concept that honestly sounds like it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. The idea that our gut is, in a very, very real way, a second brain. And look, this isn't just a catchy name. It's a real, scientifically recognized communication network called the Microbiota Gut-Brain Axis. I want you to picture a superhighway, a direct line with information zipping back and forth, 24/7, between the trillions of tiny microbes living in your gut and the command center in your head. This constant chatter has a massive influence on everything from what we think to how we feel. So, how does this conversation actually work? Well, the microbes in our gut are like these little chemical factories, just constantly churning out all sorts of important stuff. And here's the part that is just mind-blowing. You can see it right there in step 2. Over 90% of your body's serotonin, yeah, the famous feel-good chemical, is made in your gut, not your brain. These signals then travel right up to the brain, directly impacting our mood. It's incredible. All right, so if we know an imbalanced gut can contribute to poor mental health, it leads to a huge question. Could fixing the gut actually be a new form of treatment? Let's zoom in on a pretty radical therapy from a recent meta-analysis that's trying to do exactly that. Okay, it's called Fecal Microbiota Transplantation, or FMT. And yeah, the name can be a little off-putting, but the concept behind it is actually pretty brilliant. You're basically transferring the entire microbial community from a healthy person into a patient's gut to restore balance. Think of it like a total ecosystem reboot for your insides. And the results? They're pretty stunning. This analysis, which pulled together the data from 12 different high-quality studies involving almost 700 people, came to a really powerful conclusion. On average, FMT led to a significant, measurable reduction in depressive symptoms. Let's break that down a bit. The group that got the real FMT treatment saw a really big improvement. That SMD number you see there, minus 1.21, that's just a scientific way of saying the effect was really strong. Meanwhile, the group that got a placebo saw almost no change at all. That huge difference shows this isn't just a fluke. There's real therapeutic potential here. The researchers also looked at how the treatment was given, and it turns out both ways worked. Taking it in an oral capsule was effective, but delivering it more directly, say through an endoscopy, had a slightly stronger positive effect. Which makes sense, right? It gets those new microbes exactly where they need to be to set up shop. But here's the million-dollar question. How long does this effect last? Well, this timeline is really key. In the first month, patients saw a big improvement. That effect got even stronger in the 2 to 5 month range. But, and this is a big but, after about 6 months, the benefits started to fade. So that tells us that while FMT can be a powerful intervention, the next big challenge is figuring out how to make those positive changes stick around for the long haul.
And check this out. This is a super interesting wrinkle in the data. The positive effect on mood was even stronger for people who also happen to have irritable bowel syndrome. That's a massive clue, right? It just screams that when the gut is physically out of whack, getting it back in balance can have an even bigger payoff for the brain.
Now, it is really important to keep a level head here. As exciting as all this is, the researchers themselves were quick to point out that the overall certainty of the evidence is still considered low. That's pretty normal for a new field of science where every lab does things a little differently. It just means we need more research before this becomes a standard treatment, but wow, what a promising start. So, we've seen this incredible link between our gut and our mood, but the gut's influence definitely doesn't stop there. It also plays a massive role in another huge piece of our mental health puzzle, our sleep. Turns out that gut-brain highway is busy all night long, too. And just like with our mood, this is absolutely a two-way street. A few bad nights of sleep can really mess with your gut microbes, and you guessed it, an unhealthy gut can turn around and make it even harder to get good sleep. It can become this nasty feedback loop where each problem just fuels the other. And we can see this happening on a microscopic level. We know that broken, fragmented sleep can cause a dip in those good guy bacteria. We also see that people with insomnia often have fewer of the kinds of microbes that fight inflammation. Poor sleep can actually cause a rise in pro-inflammatory bacteria, which then makes your sleep quality even worse. See the cycle? So, when you put it all together, this powerful connection to our mood, these deep, deep links to our sleep, what does it all mean? What does the future of medicine look like? You see, FMT is just one tool in this brand new, rapidly growing toolbox. It's all part of a new frontier in medicine that is totally focused on the microbiome. We're talking about everything from probiotics, the beneficial bacteria themselves, to prebiotics, which are basically food to help the good guys thrive. It's a whole new way of thinking about how to treat our bodies and our minds. And that leaves us with this one last absolutely fascinating question to chew on. As we learn more and more about this second brain in our gut, are we standing on the edge of a new era of medicine? One where a doctor's prescription might be less about a pill and more about nurturing the trillions of microbes that live inside us. It's a powerful thought, and it could change absolutely everything.